What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hnh Podcast. I am Rico with Rana, joined by my older brother, Josefa Z. Rana. It's been a minute since we actually started to record a podcast. As you guys know, the last 2 weeks, we've been recording. We've been doing a live stream on IG Live. Hopefully everyone was loving that. We got a lot of support. We got a lot of good comments from the live streams, and we will be doing more. Maybe, like I mentioned before in the live, maybe Twitch streams or something along the lines of that. But anyways, we're back on the pod with the mics. Everything, we're all good to go. Josefa, my guy, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm super happy to be back here on the mic and in our studio, mini studio here. I'm in the basement here. Super happy to be back in this setup. Obviously, as Hamza had just mentioned, we were on live streams the last couple of weeks, and you guys seem to really love that. So we will continue to do that, as Hamza mentioned. But it feels good to be back in the studio, kind of a full recording session for us here today. We have a lot to unpack, a lot of stuff happening in the NFL, but also the sports world, as we will get into today. But Hamza, first and foremost, how was your week? How was your knee? How are you feeling overall?
Week's been good. I'm finally on reading week for school. For those of you who don't know what reading week, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what that is. But anyways, I'm off for a week. My knee's good. I'm finally able to walk without my crutches or without a brace on. I haven't jogged yet, but I'm doing a lot of balancing drills on my knee. Overall, it's been going pretty good. The recovery process has been a lot faster than what my physios expected. So, blessed for, speedy recovery. Still have about a month or two of, more physio. Other than that, I've been doing pretty good. Pretty excited because literally 3 days ago, this bad boy came in.
Yes, sir. So for our video listeners, you can see that being a George Pickens white jersey that Hamza has on right now. For our audio listeners, you won't be able to see that, but that's a nice George Pickens jersey, Hamza.
Absolutely. I had, we share jerseys quite a bit. Almost all your jerseys you just have three DAC jerseys. You have the navy blue, you have the white one, and you have the color rush ones. I used to have a CD white one, but then there was something wrong with the blue stuff. It kind of went everywhere. And then I also have a DeRon Bland jersey, which I bought in Dallas, and DeRon Bland, we'll talk about that shortly. And I also have, unfortunately, a Micah Parsons one, which I wore on our second episode.
Who's Micah Parsons?
The guy who had 3 sacks last game against Arizona.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've worn every single Cowboy jersey I owned on every podcast so far. I've worn the Micah one, I've worn the Bland one, and now I'm wearing the Pickens one.
What are you going to dress up for Halloween?
I'm going to dress up as George Pickens. I think I'm going to dress up as Jerry Jones.
Okay, so let's get into it, man. Obviously, a super exciting week in the NFL. Let's jump right into the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys picking up a massive win in division game against the Washington Commanders. One can say the Cowboys took command over the Commanders on Sunday. It was 44-22. Dak Prescott, I've said it out throughout this podcast in the beginning. People will be laughing at me. As people know, I'm coaching football, and a lot of the guys I'm coaching are, they keep poking fun at Dak Prescott, saying this and that, and yeah, here we go. So he is playing at an extremely high level right now. You had George Pickens continue to play at a high level, and then CeeDee Lamb, Hamza. Welcome back, CeeDee Lamb. I said it. Our first viral clip, Hamza, on the HH. But you know what the first viral clip was?
How excited you were for George Pickens?
And I said it's going to be the best duo in the NFL. We're sitting here going into week 8. Could you say that the best duo in the NFL is George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? Which other duo is better than that as a receiving
core? I think they could be the best. The only debatable one you could do is Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Sure, but I guess Joe Burrow is not healthy. That's fine. I'll give you that. But right now, with what we have given us, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb is the number 1 duo in the NFL. Rana prediction correct, number one. And Dak Prescott, as I said in the beginning, is playing like an MVP. Rana prediction number two correct. Man, an exciting game. Hamza, Deron Bland, our defense finally played well. Really quickly, Hamza, tell me about your thoughts in the game. The Cowboys picking up a big win against the Commanders, and obviously we hope Jay Daniels is doing okay health-wise. But Hamza, how you feeling after the game?
It obviously feels good to win in a game, especially the way we did. What was it, 44-22? You love
BTA.
You love those blowout games. People want to make up excuses, be like, "Oh, there's no Terry McLaurin, they didn't have Debo," and I'm not even just saying this because I'm a biased Cowboys fan, and I will say I'm a biased Cowboys fan. But I'm not super biased all the time. Schematically, the way the Dallas defense was playing, and the coverages that they were showing, and the stunts that they were showing, even with Terry McLaurin or Debo Samuel, you still would have lost the game.
Yeah,
I think Dallas defensively, they showed how to really play man defense, and we saw that a lot from our corners. Deron Bland had himself a game. Surprisingly, someone we've been, chirping on the entire year is Kyer Elam. He finally actually had a solid game at least. Linebackers started to play okay, played better. Kenneth Murray definitely had a good game. And Shamar James, the rookie out of Florida, he's also been coming up, and he's been playing good. Overall, the Dallas defense played well, and there's nothing more I can say about the offense except for saying like how good they are. It's honestly unbelievable. Javonte Williams is playing like a monster. Pay that man. You also got to pay Pickens. There's a lot of stuff you got to do. But I'm super happy right now. At least going into this week, super excited for this next week coming up against Denver. I think it will be a dogfight, especially the way they won against the Giants. But yeah, really happy with the way our defense played. And that Deron Bland pick six gave me like flashbacks from when he got that pick six record against the Commanders.
Deron Bland could have played. He could have played receiver for Washington because he loves playing against Washington. Those picks. But Hamza, NFL total team offense stats 2025. This is no surprise. 7 games played for a lot of these teams. Obviously, 2,734 yards, an average of 390 yards a game. Where passing yards overall with Dak is 1,879. He's averaging 268 a game. We're rushing right now. We have 855 yards rushing overall. We're averaging 122 yards a game. And then overall points, we have 222. And then we have average 31.7 points a game. If the Dallas Cowboys have a mid to okay defense, this team will be a threat in the playoffs. This team will make significant strides this season, and the NFL better be ready because, like I said, Dak Prescott's playing at an MVP level. George Pickens, man, every time this guy is making these crazy catches down the sideline, it looks like he's made out of something else. So he is playing great. This team is playing great, and obviously a big game against the Denver Broncos as we head into Week 8. It's crazy, Hamza, dude. Week 8 already in the NFL is some crazy work.
Speaking of Dallas, there was a report that came out today.
Yes.
Actually, I'll read the full report from Trey Wingo. Honestly, I've never heard of this guy before.
Jonathan Mingo's brother. Yeah.
It's a Wingo, not Mingo. Report comes out to say is that the Dallas Cowboys are eyeing Maxx Crosby. According to sources at the Dallas Cowboys have made inquiries with the Raiders about a potential trade for Maxx Crosby. This is something, obviously, Cowboys fans would be super interested in. But then also the new report came out a couple of hours later that apparently this isn't true. The Cowboys haven't reached out about Maxx Crosby, but the Cowboys are reaching out to teams about potential trades, potential targets, whatever. But anyways, let's just say hypothetically in a world where the Dallas Cowboys are actually eyeing Maxx Crosby. Number one, what would you give up to get Maxx Crosby? Number two, how much you get paid? You got paid $35 million?
Yeah, something like
that. $36 million?
Yeah.
Number two, does this Maxx Crosby trade put Dallas as a Super Bowl contending team? Number three, how are you going to pay George Pickens, Javonte Williams, and Brandon Aubrey?
Okay, so I'm happy you mentioned that, Hamza. Number one, would I trade for Max Crosby? Yes, I would trade for Max Crosby. I do think he can take us over the top. You need a pass rusher. Obviously, Michael Parsons is gone. Max Crosby is a little bit cheaper, but still an elite level defensive end. What am I giving up? Definitely one of the first round picks. You have to, right? You have 4 of them. If you can flip Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, Max Crosby, and then let's just say you give away 1 first round pick. Let's just say in this. You still have 3 first-round picks you got back from Micah Parsons. You add Max Crosby, and you already have Kenny Clark. Like, come on, that's a great deal for the Dallas Cowboys. You got to make that thing done. So I have here some numbers here for you guys. So in 2025, Max Crosby is guaranteed $20.3 million. In 2026, he's guaranteed $30. But then in 2027, 2028, 2029, he's guaranteed $29 million, $27, and $28 million. So the Dallas Cowboys right now have the most cap space, second most cap space in the NFL with $31 million. So you actually can't afford Max Crosby for the rest of this season because it is also after the June 1st, post-June 1st trade deadline type of thing. So the cap is not as significant as it would be if he was traded before June 1st in this NFL season. And the Dallas Cowboys, how can they afford George Pickens? Well, I think Trayvon Diggs is a guy that will not be here next year. Unfortunately, with his injuries, his off-field issues, he hasn't been, A, the same player he once was, and 2, he's also a very expensive player. So you maybe package him to the Raiders for something like that. Maybe like a first, Trayvon Diggs, and a 4th or something for Max Crosby and like a 5th. Like this is something that A, would be good for the Raiders because you're getting a first-round pick, you're getting a good corner in Trayvon Diggs, and you're obviously in a rebuild. And for the Dallas Cowboys, you're adding a guy like Max Crosby, which would be unbelievable. Can you imagine?
Honestly, like I've had debates with a couple of the guys from my football team I played with this summer. This is before Micah got traded. We're talking about the best pass rushers in the NFL. Being a Cowboys fan, obviously, I forced Micah into that conversation. But everyone was telling me Micah Parsons is an unbelievable pass rusher. Max Crosby is an unbelievable pass rusher. But the difference between them two is that he is a force in the run defense.
Yes.
Max Crosby's unbelievable at setting the edge. He's unbelievable at getting off his block and taking down the runner in the backfield. That is the kind of impact that if you add to this Dallas defense, which has struggles, they're a bit on and off. We see glimpses in games here and there about, we're actually getting to, like, Dante Fowler had his game 2 weeks ago against the Jets. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? Like, we're actually getting to the quarterback. People like Donovan Ezaraku, who honestly, like, stats might not show, but he's been playing very well. He's setting the edge really well. He's just stopping the run, and he had his first sack last weekend against the Commanders. And you bring in a guy like Max Crosby, what this does is, first of all, not only is it going to benefit your pass rush, it's going to benefit your secondary. Because if the pass rush gets to the quarterback, it's going to force the quarterback to make the throws where the secondary could be in a better position. What it also does, you add a guy like Max Crosby, this is going to elevate guys like Donovan Ezaraku. This is going to elevate guys like James Houston. This is elevate guys like Dante Fowler, Jadeveon Clowney. When you have an impact guy like that, there's so much to already focus on Max Crosby. Where the reason why Micah Parsons was so good in Dallas is that, or the reason why the defensive line was so good in Dallas, because everyone was so focused on Micah. And then when you had people like Sam Williams, when he had 5.5 sacks that 1 year, when you had someone like DeMarcus Lawrence to get to the quarterback, that's what it does when you have a dominant pass rusher. It really helps the entire defensive line, and it also helps your secondary. Trading for Max Crosby, I do agree with you. I don't think Trayvon Diggs will be a Dallas Cowboy next season. I think everything is pointing towards that Trayvon Diggs will be on the team, and also I think a reasonable trade package. This is what I'm making up right now. Is you give away Trayvon Diggs, you give away one of your young pass rushers, either Marshawn Nealand, who hasn't really been showing much, or Sam Williams, who's on the last year, and then he had a good year a couple years ago. Give away Trayvon Diggs and Sam Williams, and you give away one of your first round picks, and in return you get Max Crosby, maybe a late round pick swap, something along the lines of that. I think, that's like what I have.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
And we'll get more into maybe mock stuff for later on, closer to the trade deadline. But I think the Cowboys will make a move for a player. If it's not Maxx Crosby, Jeffrey Simmons, another interior defensive lineman, there's so many different options that the Cowboys can go to. And I do think they will make a move to get a guy to help this team win a championship, hopefully this year. But we'll get into that later on. But obviously, that was a nice recap by the Dallas Cowboys, Hamza, as they beat the Washington Commanders 44-22, and they're off to the Denver Broncos. They're off to play the Denver Broncos, this Sunday. Hamza, you want to tell me one other game that you were kind of excited to watch this past weekend and that kind of stood out from you, and then we'll go into some other
the game last night, Detroit Lions and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I kind of called it before. I said I'm not sure how this Bucs offense is going to look against this Detroit defense, and it kind of showed. They were all over Baker Mayfield yesterday. Lions did come out with the win. I didn't put it anywhere saying the Lions are going to win, but I had a feeling that this is going to be the game the Detroit Lions win. Jahmyr Gibbs, he also had himself a day. Jared Goff and Amon-Ra, that connection is something else as well. It was just pure domination by the Detroit Lions against the Buccaneers. And also, unfortunately, we got some news earlier that Mike Evans will miss the entire season. Unfortunately, he won't be able to get another 1K season. But that was one of them. What about you?
For me, there's a few games. So number one was San Francisco against the San Francisco against the Atlanta Falcons. Excuse me. I thought that was a big game for McCaffrey and the offense to kind of show their ability to continue to run the ball. They're 5-2. Man, there's 3 teams in the NFC North who are 5-2. And Hamza, I think the Hnh Podcast had predicted that this would be one of the most competitive divisions in football. And would you look at that? We were right. The NFC North, San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, and LA Rams are all 5-2, creating that really bottleneck of a conference situation for playoffs.
NFC West,
what did I say?
You said NFC North, but we said both.
Sorry, NFC West I'm talking about, yeah. So that was a big game, San Fran. And then obviously we talked about it a little bit on the live stream, but I thought it was pretty cool, the Uncle Bowl, with Joe Flacco going in and beating Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, these Pittsburgh Steelers cannot win on primetime against the Bengals. And obviously an interesting story there, but I thought that game was impressive. And Joe Flacco rewinding the clock and showing that he can still play at a high level. And I'm happy because T. Higgins in fantasy finally showed up, which was fantastic. And by the way, 6-1 in our family league, and 5-2 in my other league. We won't talk about the third league that I'm in, but the 2 other ones I'm top dog. So it's been nice, good start for that. And yeah, Hamza, before we continue on, so that was a little bit of recap of the NFL, Hamza. It was brought to my attention that you wanted to talk about a college football player outlook.
Yes,
so I'll let you go into that real quick for a few minutes, and then we'll touch on some other sports happening around the world, because as Canadians, there's obviously some big news that kind of happened this week, and an exciting time for this country in a different sport that we will talk about. So before that, though, Hamza, let's hear your college football player outlook, please.
For sure. So this is our third college football player outlook. First one, obviously, we did, which is one of our most viral clips, was Jonah Coleman, running back for Washington. Our most recent one we did was Mansour Delane, cornerback for LSU. This time, I'm going back to the offensive side of the field. But this time, I'm going to go with a big body, Carnell Tate, wide receiver for Ohio State. So before I get into depth, is Carnell Tate, people kind of shunned him off to start the season because obviously you know how good Jeremiah Smith is. People didn't really put into mind of the type of impact that Carnell Tate would have. But honestly, man, with this Ohio State offense and with Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sane balling out, you're kind of seeing a 1A, 1B. It was not just a 1 and a 2. You're really seeing a 1A, 1B with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Super similar stats, but Carnell Tate this season has 587 yards on 34 catches, 6 touchdowns, and this guy is a jump ball, like he's an unbelievable jump ball receiver. He's a jump ball demon, if you want to say. If you see Carnell Tate down the field, just put the ball up. He honestly reminds me a lot of when Keon Coleman was at Florida State. Just a big body receiver, someone that can get open. But the difference with Cardinal Tate is he's actually a pretty good route runner and also is really good at using his body. Of the way of balls going over your shoulder. He's really good at like tilting himself to get in the right position to make the grab. Also has some speed to it. So this is a all around receiver. Again, big body receiver with Cardinal Tate. Super super talented. Still have more than half of the season left of college football to go. I can see this guy definitely going in the first round, and honestly, with a team fit, maybe pair him up with his old teammate from Ohio State. Maybe pair him up with a guy like Marvin Harrison. Get another guy across the field from him, and yeah, Cardinal Tate, man, this is the guy you got to watch out for. He's a real deal.
Yeah, I like the Hamza. And Hamza, your mic a little bit right now is just a little bit, sound a little hollow there. You speak for a second?
Yep.
Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. Yeah, good. Cardinal Tate, he's a stud, man. I think he would be a great fit for a team like Arizona. Maybe even, a late round pick, maybe for Seattle. Him and Jackson Smith and Jigba, his number 2 there. But overall, he's a great player. And that was a great college football player outlook, Hamza. But Hamza, let's quickly shift over to some other sports around the world. We had mentioned that we are going to obviously talk about the NFL, obviously talk about the Dallas Cowboys, and some big-time news around the NFL, but also try to expand. And I would be remiss if I did not mention, and obviously we will be the first to admit, we are not baseball fans. I watched maybe a handful of Blue Jays games this year, but being a Canadian-born here from Ottawa, the closest team, obviously, that we would cheer for is the Toronto Blue Jays, and they picked up a massive win in the ALCS. In the ALCS against the Seattle Mariners and Springer with a big-time home run in the 7th inning to give the Blue Jays the lead in that game when they were to hold on with Hoffman striking out there in the 9th. And the Blue Jays will be moving on to the World Series against Shohei Ohtani, Hamza, and the LA Dodgers. I know we don't know much about baseball, but we are going to be fully watching this series. We will fully hop onto the Toronto Blue Jays bandwagon, the Canada Blue Jays, if you will. We're really excited for that series. I watched the whole game yesterday, and we're really excited for Friday. But Hamza, quickly, I know this is actually new for both of us, but Shohei Ohtani, man, I know you heard of the name. He's probably one of the best athletes in the world right now. And for people who don't know, in the closing game against the Brewers, he struck out, I think it was 10 guys. He struck out 10 guys by himself, he's a pitcher, Hamza. And he also had 3 home runs in that game. So imagine going out there, striking out 10 guys or 11 guys, whatever it was. And forgive me for the baseball fans who don't know I'm not saying the right number. But then he also had 3 home runs. One of those home runs, Hamza, went completely outside the park. And rumor has it that ball is still in the air. They don't know where it is. So
basically what you're saying, to put it into football perspective,
hold on. I was gonna ask you a question because we're gonna So Shohei Ohtani is obviously he's an all rounder. I guess you can say he's
I already have one in mind.
Pitcher, and he's obviously a great batter. Who would be what would that be equivalent to in the NFL? Let's say NFL. Is it like a Deion Sanders playing both ways? Is it like a quarterback?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say primetime.
Primetime is yours?
Primetime. Just, again, we weren't alive when he was playing, but obviously we've seen the highlights. We obviously know how good primetime is. But initially, a DB, one of the greatest DB ever. I don't think it probably is a debate, but I think primetime is definitely the greatest DB ever. But also was a menace on the offensive side of the field. Like this guy would do anything. Honestly, like I can't compare Shohei Ohtani to anyone current because there's no one doing it unless Travis Hunter goes off. But Travis Hunter's not Deion Sanders.
Yeah, it's from a football perspective. Yeah, the Deion one's good. What about like a quarterback? I'm trying to think. What about like a quarterback throwing for like 4 touchdowns, but then having 2 sacks or like 3 sacks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or like it's special what he's able to do, and obviously. You don't have to be, I think, a baseball fan to appreciate his level of greatness. And Shohei Ohtani and this Dodgers team is making their way to Toronto for Game 1. So Hamza, by the time this video is up, Game 1 will be the next day. And we'll try to keep up with the World Series as we kind of go along. And hopefully the Blue Jays can pick up a massive series win as they're the big-time underdogs in this, Hamza. I did some research today. the Dodgers are supposed to it's supposed to be pretty ugly. So, what is your prediction for the series, Hamza? I know you don't watch baseball, but based on what you've heard about Shohei, watching some highlights, and obviously I'm sure people at school have been talking about it. Game 1, so they do like in baseball they do like back to back. So game 1 and game 2, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday will be a travel day. Then game 3 will be Monday, Tuesday, and then they kind of go 3 games in LA and then 2 games back in Toronto for 6 and 7 if needed. So Hamza, what is your prediction for this World Series?
As much as I want to be a positive Canadian fan,
Don't do it,
when you're going up against a guy like Shohei Ohtani,
Hamza. Don't do it, Hamza.
you kind of have to say that they're gonna win. Like you can't. I can't bet against them. Like I don't think I can.
So you're saying Dodgers in 4?
Not at 4. I think maybe Dodgers at 5.
Damn. Okay.
But yeah.
So Hamza says Dodgers in 5s. Chat, you better rip him up and send him a bunch of messages if this doesn't happen. For me, man, I gotta go with the Canadian guys. And deep down, I'm not even thinking that they're from Toronto because I do not like Toronto. The Leafs are, we don't talk about the Leafs. Obviously, you and I are diehard Golden State Warriors fans, so we don't talk about the Raptors. Toronto FC, we don't care about. That's fine. But the Blue Jays, because of the only Canadian team, I'm gonna go with the underdogs. I'm going with the Toronto Blue Jays. You know why, Hamza?
I want the Blue Jays to win, but I don't think they will.
I know, I understand that, but I want the Blue Jays to win, and I think they're gonna win because they have heart. They have passion. They have aggression.
The Yankee lose.
And the Yankee and those photos of Vlad were really cute when he was with at the Expos. But I'm gonna go with the heart. I'm gonna go with Savage, the 22-year-old pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. Who Hamza, I've gathered information that he started at like junior level earlier this year. And Blue Jay MLB players, it takes years for them to kind of get up to that level and play at the MLB. And he is now one of the main guys in the bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays. So, Savage, 22-year-old, obviously Vladdy and Bo Bichette. I couldn't tell you the injury that he had, but I believe he's coming back from an injury. And Springer and all these guys, Alejandro Kirk. I know my baseball here. So I'm going to go with the Toronto Blue Jays in Game 7 in Toronto. It's an exciting time for our country, exciting time for baseball, and hey, baseball just got 2 new fans from this series, me and Hamza. So we're excited, and hopefully that goes out in favor of Team Canada.
Sure.
Now,
let's switch to sports topic here. Let's talk about season opener today. The Golden State Warriors will be playing the Los Angeles Lakers at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Something I've been waiting for a long time. We finally get to see a full season with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler playing alongside each other. We also got some reports in today that Al Horford will not be starting.
Oh,
the lineup
is
looking like is Steph Curry. Fortunately, Brandon Pochevsky, please trade him away. Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga will be playing the 4, and then you have Draymond Green at the 5.
I don't mind that.
Honestly, dude, as much as we want to, even though I don't like Draymond Green at the 5 this much, to be honest, I kind of like this in a sense that, you're going to have to DeAndre Ayton, the center for the Lakers, he's going to have to move around a lot on the perimeter. You won't just have to be staying in the paint with, having a guy like Draymond who isn't really, again, he can't shoot, but he moves around a lot. So, in that sense, I like it. Also, reports is that Al Horford will not be playing any back-to-back games because of his age.
Damn.
So, really trying to, take care of him, take care of his body. But yeah, Warriors versus Lakers today. Tonight, 10 p.m. I'm obviously going to go with the Warriors over the Lakers. I'm going to go 112 to 101.
I like that.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, honestly,
101.
I'm super excited for this season. Obviously, people know I'm a big-time Klay Thompson fan, so still not having him in the lineup is a little sad. However, Jimmy Butler, as you mentioned, a full year now with the Golden State Warriors, which is going to be super exciting. And Hamza, I'm looking at the ESPN roster here, man. We're kind of getting at that point, man, as Warriors fans, where we have to come to the realization that Steph Curry may not be playing for much longer. He's 37 years old. Jimmy Butler's 36. And obviously, we're an older team, man. Which is
the most sad day. Steph Curry retires. He's the reason why, I love sports.
It's so we had it nice as kids, and it was tough growing up being Warriors fans and people calling you bandwagons, but we've been fans. Shout out Lalu. We've been fans for a very long time. So it's kind of sad to see these guys getting a little bit older, but with older guys comes opportunity. And Jonathan Kuminga finally signed. I think he's gonna have a great year, man. Like if this guy can start as he will be and continue to produce offensively and defensively, man, he can easily be a double-double average, triple-double kind of guy. Like he's that kind of player. Just the league hasn't seen that yet, and his athleticism is going to be there.
It's just Steve Kerr, man. Honestly, I think Steve Kerr is still stuck in the
don't
the
be
old
Steve Kerr. You can disrespect Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr recently has not been the greatest. He's still stuck in that. Everything has to be built around Curry. I think another reason why we lost. I know he is, but like what Steve Kerr has to do, he has to adapt. I haven't seen him adapt in a while. I think another reason why we lost to the series against the Timberwolves because we're still playing that offense around Curry when he was hurt. You got to go around Jimmy. You have to really play around Jimmy if you don't have Steph. But I also hearing that I'm not sure if you saw it too, but this might be Kerr's last year.
Yeah, I did see that. It's a little sad for me because I think he's the best coach in the NBA right now, and there's a reason why.
One of the greatest ever. People might disagree because the talent that he had, but he honestly, even though he didn't fully build it on his own, he had oh my God, how am I forgetting his name? The former Warriors head coach who's now a commentator. How am I forgetting?
Bob Myers.
No, the black guy. He literally made the Curry and Clay offense.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I forget the name too.
It's actually so embarrassing. I'm forgetting his name.
Okay, well, keep going.
But yeah, this is the last run for Kerr. Last run for this team, and hopefully, they make it count. When I say last run for this team, obviously he's still gonna play for more years with Jimmy Butler and Draymond as well. But this being Steve Kerr's last year, the Warriors, the West did get stacked. The West is honestly stacked. The Houston Rockets are looking really, really good. The Spurs are looking good. The Kings, they're getting better. Obviously, Denver, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson. There you go. Unbelievable. I forgot his name.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, this is it's gonna be a fun season for sure. It'll be a fun season. Yeah. Potentially the Bronx last season. We don't know either. So
that's the Golden State Warriors recap preview, and obviously Hnh Podcast. I've said it before. I'm a broken record, but I want people to understand that we are going to talk about the Cowboys, but we're also going to talk about NFL and other sports around the world, and that transitions us perfectly, Hamza, quickly to the Ottawa Senators. Man, it has been a rough couple of weeks for the Ottawa Senators, the boys in red. Sitting at a record of 2-4 right now. Goaltending from Linus Ullmark has not been there to the level that we all know it can be. Obviously, Brady Tkachuk being out does not help, but overall, man, it's been a tough watch these last couple games for the Ottawa Senators. The game against Buffalo last week was absolutely embarrassing. You cannot let the Buffalo Sabres do what they did to you. And then you respond and have a great game against the Seattle Kraken, force overtime, get into a shootout, and pick up the big win there. But then you go again against the Islanders, and you just shoot yourself in the foot. So the Ottawa Senators, they kind of have to turn it around kind of right now. Obviously, expectation on this team was making the playoffs last year and continuing that success going into this year. But it's been a rough start right now. It's still early. But I need my guys like Fabian Zetterlund to kind of ball out. I need guys like Ridley Gregg to continue to play well. And Shane
Pinto's balling out.
Shane Pinto is the hottest NHL player right now. Hottest Ottawa Senator player, but also one of the hottest NHL players in the league right now with 7 goals. He's playing at an unbelievable level right now. I think the boys will turn around. Obviously, they have the Edmonton Oilers this week, followed by the Philadelphia Flyers on Thursday. And then the Washington Capitals on Saturday. So there's still.
Let me ask you this though.
Yeah, ask me a hockey question.
Do you see a potential trade down the season where Ottawa can turn it around, or
I do.
Something, or is there names that come to mind that could fit?
It's a great question. So I do think the Sens. Number one, I do think the Sens are going to be in a position to be able to make trades and acquire at the trade deadline. A big name that I would love, like if you say Z, who is one player that right now you snap your fingers, he's an Ottawa Senator, and that's number 89 for the Buffalo Sabres, Alex Tuch. I think he's a UFA at the end of the summer. He's a right shot winger. He's got speed. He's got size. You combine that, with a guy like Tim Stützle on one wing. At the center position. It's a dynamic duo. He's fast. He can play the body, and as I mentioned, he's a unrestricted free agent in the summer. So if the Ottawa Senators can go out get a guy like Alex Tuch, I think that would be ideal. I just hope a guy like Fabian Zetterlund is going to start to turn around, man. I'm a big Zetterlund guy. I do think he's going to score. I've said it almost every game now. It just hasn't happened yet, but I'm excited for the season to continue, and I'm excited for the Ottawa Senators to kind of respond and show the league that they're legit. So, yeah, Hamza, any thoughts on the Sens? Anything that you've watched, seen? Because I know you've watched a few games.
Yeah, I think we're missing. It's kind of funny because he is a big reason of the physicality that we're missing. But when you're missing a guy like Brady Tkachuk, you need other people to step up and to be super physical. Fortunately, we're gonna miss him for how many weeks? 6 weeks?
6 to 8 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big loss for sure. But good thing is season doesn't end in December. It ends in June. So yeah, plenty of hockey left. But yeah, honestly, that's all I could say so far. Again, it's the beginning of the season. Anything could it could turn around. Like football.
One thing I'd say too is I like the lineup of Tim Stützle, Dylan Cousins, and Drake Batherson. That's the lineup that's going to.
Cousins has been stepping up, honestly.
Yeah, the Cousins is doing well.
Performance last year against the Leafs. He's been.
Yeah. No, he's been playing well. I think guys are going to turn it around here soon, and they just got to start to play a little bit tighter in the defensive zone, and this penalty kill has to stop. This diamond penalty kill is insane.
One final sport we need to talk about super quickly, and I'll quickly go over it. This weekend, Saturday, UFC 300 or 322, headlining Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane for the heavyweight champion. Also, we have the women's strawweight title.
322.
Yeah.
Keep more?
Oh, sorry, 321.
321. I was going to say 322 is Islam.
Yeah, sorry. 321. With the women's strawweight titles on the line, Rana. Oh my God, what's her name? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Versus Mackenzie Dern for the women's strawweight title.
I'll try pronouncing her name 1 second.
The fight that I am most excited for. If you get to see the revival fight of Umar Nurmagomedov, came off an unfortunate loss against Merab Davashvili. Honestly, it was super close. That was Merab's closest fight he's fought against anyone. I believe it was unanimous decision. Should have been a split. I think Umar Nurmagomedov, his hand was not broken after round 1. He would have won that fight. Really want to see that fight happen again. He's fighting against Mario Batista in the bantamweight. Right now he is a favorite to win, and I do think it will be a quick 1-round fight for Umar Nurmagomedov. Also, Alexander Volkov is fighting. That's okay. This fight's actually sick.
Yeah, I'll quickly take over here, Hamza. I'm super excited for this card. I think Tom Aspinall is gonna get a cook gone here, both on the ground and in the air, on the air, standing as well. And her name is Verna Jandriroba from Brazil. Then Umar.
We're fighting for the strawweight title because who was the champion before? But she went up to go fight. What's her name? Yeah.
Okay, and Umar Nurmagomedov. Dude, these guys. He is that's the guy that you and I are excited for because he had that tough loss last time, and we are looking for him to respond against Mario Batista, not Dave Batista's son or cousin or brother. Actually, really quickly, John Cena. He's okay. First of all, what's your favorite John Cena member? Because John Cena's he's obviously going to be finishing his
honestly, one thing I will say
WWE journey. What's up?
Before he finishes it, I know he's doing his last year, his 2025 run, whatever. It's been super underwhelming as a wrestling fan and a John Cena fan. When he was a heel, honestly, I actually did enjoy it. I wish he was a heel for a little bit longer. But the matches were good. Honestly, he's having good matches. I know you don't like this guy, but he had a most recent match against AJ Styles. Triple H did a really good job with that. But yeah, honestly, I haven't been keeping up as much. It's been super underwhelming. He has 2 months, basically 2 months left, and hopefully, if there's one match I want to see left before he retires, is that he could somehow bring back Edge from
Oh my
AEW
gosh, that
and
would
do a
be.
John Cena versus Edge match. That'd be unbelievable. Would love to
Man,
see that.
people who may not know this, like, when people ask me as a kid, like, who are your heroes? John Cena was number one for me. Like, I'm a massive John Cena guy. He was the epitome of a baby face, of a guy who, was the yes man, and he would do everything for the business. And his growing up, man, those stories, like him fighting the Nexus. I was gonna ask you what your favorite John Cena memory is. Is him fighting the Nexus was just an unbelievable story and great. Like it felt like you were part of the journey as well, and that was an insane run that he had there. And then obviously, even when he would team up with D-Generation X and Shawn Michaels and Triple H and fight the Legacy against Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton, like that is the OG John Cena that I remember. And yeah, I do agree with you. It has been a little bit underwhelming because of whatever it is. But yeah, what's your favorite John Cena memory before we end the pod here? Or like match or like era, because remember he used to wear different colors like almost every other month. So what was your favorite?
One thing, it's not my favorite memory, but honestly, one of the most shocking moments is it really happened this year is when he turned heel.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like that was actually unbelievable.
You
You called it. You called it before it happened. You called it before. It was like, yo, imagine he turns heel. Honestly, I was super shocked and I was super excited for it. But honestly, favorite John Cena memory
Or like
would
match,
probably have to be would probably have to be when this is actually really tough. There's so many. I want to say The Rock, the second fight when John Cena won.
I hated The
But
Rock.
honestly, the way the first one was built up was better. But I think obviously having being biased towards John Cena, I love when he beat The Rock. But that was awesome.
Also, remember when, like, even something as simple as, like, again, John Cena versus the Nexus, and then John Cena was announcing his team, like, Bret the Hitman Hart came out,
Edge came out,
Jericho, Great Khali, R-Truth, John Morrison,
John Morrison.
like those, like that, like just stuff like that. It was just so fun as a child watching.
Okay, I think probably my favorite moment would be when he won the 16 titles high record against AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, that'd probably
Hamza, as we end every podcast with a quick Dallas Cowboys preview against the Denver Broncos. Hamza, what are you looking forward to in that game? What's your prediction? And let's hear it. I'll let you go first.
I'm looking forward for Javonte Williams' get back game. Rico Dowdle had a get back game against us. Let Javonte Williams have a his get back game against the Denver Broncos. Why not?
Yes.
Let's honestly, Javonte Williams, I've been super happy with him. When we first signed him, I was like, okay, like, we got Javonte Williams. I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna draft a running back, whatever. But honestly, he's been doing super well. Really happy with Javonte Williams. The key question is, can this Dallas defense be consistent? We saw it against Washington. Hopefully, we can do it against Bo Nix and their offense. They've been kind of explosive, with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Cortland Sutton's been playing well. Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Evan Ingram, and that offensive line is also very well put as well. So hopefully, we see a better performance from this Dallas defense. I'm not sure if Trayvon Diggs will be back for this game, but honestly, Trayvon Diggs in man, a lot of times he got cooked this year was because he was in zone and Donovan Wilson screwed up. So if we are playing more of a man type of defense, it'd be honestly be more beneficial for Diggs if he can be able to play this week. Offensively, I don't think much I have to say. We know how good this offense is going to be. I want to say Dallas is going to come out with a win. I'm going to go 35-24 in Denver. Dallas wins.
So I want to say a couple things real quick before we end the podcast here. Obviously, you said everything great. Javonte Williams, I'm super excited for. One key matchup to I think keep an eye on is, excuse me. Pat Surtain will be with obviously matching stuff. CeeDee Lamb. What's that going to do? Your jersey, that guy is going to have a great game because there isn't a DB on that team that can guard George Pickens.
Got him guaranteed. We got to watch out for him.
So I'm really excited to see George Pickens ball out. Javonte Williams, as you mentioned, revenge game. He's going to go crazy. Dak Prescott playing at a high level. Like you said, Hamza, you nailed it on the head. Consistency is the biggest thing with this team, especially on defense. I was more worried about Denver's defense a couple weeks ago, but then I saw what Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo did and how they needed an extra point to almost barely win. I'm confident that our Dallas Cowboys offense will play well. So give me the Dallas Cowboys. Honestly, they're averaging. Give me Cowboys 37-28. Dallas Cowboys are going to pick up the victory. And other thing, too, I'm just going to throw something out here, guys. Bear with me here. 1992, 1993, Hamza, the Toronto Blue Jays won back-to-back World Series championships. Hamza, you know what happened those 2 years, Hamza?
Dallas won back-to-back.
Dallas won back-to-back Super Bowls. Let me add on to that a little bit further. 1995 was the last time the Dallas Cowboys beat the Denver Broncos. 1995. Hamza, do you want to know what happened in 1995? Yeah.
I believe last time that was when the Dallas won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Obviously, we don't remember that stuff at all. I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. I've seen my team win 3 playoff games. However, for our historians watching this podcast, that doesn't make sense. Watching this podcast, you got to look back at the past and understand what happened back then and see if there's trends that can happen in the future. 1995, Dallas Cowboys beat the Denver Broncos. They went on to win the Super Bowl. The Toronto Blue Jays are in the World Series, and the Dallas Cowboys are up against the Denver Broncos this week. It just, something's out there that we can maybe see something brewing out here for the Cowboys this year and the Toronto Blue Jays. Thank you guys all so much for watching. We really appreciate that. Hamza, I will let you take it home for us.
Again, we appreciate you guys for watching. Please like, share, repost. We will be posting this on a Thursday, so everybody stay tuned. I'm talking to future people watching this video. We appreciate all the love and support. We will hopefully be doing a live stream soon. Other than that, we will catch you guys shortly. And also, last thing I want to say, Trevion Henderson, please lock in, please. Anyways, I will catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys. Bye.